part one. We start a new series today. Hi there, Cooklick. Hi there, Body. Sorry, Steve. I still don't get your new nickname, Boddingtons. Hi there. Well, we start something new today. And today, yeah, like I just want to focus on like going through the kit, like just getting started and see what we have to do in the next couple of weeks. And I have a massive box, and it's pretty heavy. So, hi there, so this is basically all we have to do today. um, yeah, so let's just quickly get down with the basics. So this is the Formbot 2.4 kit. It's the 300 millimeter 2.4. The long-term goal basically for this would be to become a tool changer, but that's then like for future. So for now, we just start with just basically building the kit as is. So I'm not going to add like mods on the fly. So we just basically follow the manual and build it as it's intended. And then after that's done and the machine is kind of running, we will start tinkering with it, of course. Important to mention, I got a discount from Formbot so that I can make the live streams here basically. And this will also be like used as like manual or a tutorial for people who buy the kit. So this is kind of sponsored-ish. So it's like a mini sponsor basically. I also put a link in the description to the kit, which is affiliate link. First time I do that. But yeah, so if you like the kit and you want to buy it, please use the link in the description so I get a tiny kickback. Cool. Well, hi there, Harlem. Hi there, Ravenkeeper. So I would say just let's get started with this big box. I need to be a bit careful because like there's my MacBook back there and there's the screen and like I totally see myself like knocking something over. So I think the smartest is actually to just put the box over there and then I just take out the layers. I didn't look into this yet. Like I just briefly made sure that everything arrived in one piece. This is basically like the first time I go through that. There's no Discord in the description. Oh no, I forgot it. I'm so sorry. Yes, there's a Discord. It's supposed to be Discord in the description. Let me quickly add that before I forget. 1 second. I'm not yet used to all the new tasks. Let me see. I'm not sure if I can edit this. Here. Safe. Okay, now it should be in the description. Thanks for the reminder, Steve. Okay, so let's get started. Let me just maybe throw the foam over there. Layer one. I'm actually quite excited to go through this. Let me see if I can like put this all the way over here. Let me maybe quickly cut this one off. And it's not like hanging into the picture here. That's also. There will be like absolute chaos back there at the end of the stream. Okay, cool. So, this looks like panels and one sheet of sanding paper. I'm not quite sure what this is for, but I guess at some point we will need it during the build. I do have my own, but we will make sure to use the one that is supplied. Also, like quite coarse. It says 500, but it feels more like a 240. Then we have panels. Lots of panels. So these are the clear ones, I think. Let me just check. Like, are they really clear? Or are they like... I think it's just the foil on this side is clear. So I wonder if they're like milky or if they're like... No, they're clear. They're fully translucent. Just like the second cover film is a bit milky. So let me just put them here for now. Then this is the base panel. which is relatively thick. Actually, I'm quite sure what material this is. It doesn't feel like acrylic glass. And it's black. Yeah, it's still acrylic, I think. It just feels a bit different. But maybe because it's quite thick. Then that's the bottom panel. That feels like acrylic, so I'm not really not sure what material this is. I think that's something different. Hi, Tilo. Welcome. Is this printer better than a Prusa Core 1? Well, depends how well you build it. I think it's a different machine. It's definitely bigger. Like this one has a 300 by 300 build volume. You also get a 350 version. But it's more like if you just want a printer that prints, then get a Prusa Core 1. If you want a project and fun building it, then this is like the better choice, maybe. Um, yeah, but I'm still not sure like what type of material this is. Like it's definitely not like plain acrylic. I need to maybe we can check later the bomb what it exactly is. And this is the back, most likely. And I think this is the top, and then we have to cut out where all the filament stuff comes out and everything. Cool. I mean, the panels look good. Like they don't have any like sharp edges or something, so that is nice. So far, so good. I just put everything back. I'm a bit surprised. I would have expected also the heat bed in this section here. I got a Mark IV now, Mark IV-S. Well, maybe you can also check out the upgrade kit. I know there's a Mark IV to Mark IV-S to Core 1 upgrade kit. I'm not quite sure how economical it is, to be honest, but I think it's relatively expensive. But if you want to build like a cool printer, like this is definitely a hot candidate. Let's put it like that. It's just really fun building it together, and it's like really your printer in the end, right? Like because I mean you have to print all the parts to build the printer, and basically there are so many like small decisions you make along the way that's like really like a unique machine at the end. And that's a bit the difference if you, for example, like build a Prusa Core 1, even if you build like the kit version. With the Prusa, you follow the manual basically, and it's in the end like it's a Prusa Core 1. It's like one of many. And with these kits, like there's more, they're more difficult to build for sure, but they're like way more customized to you at the end. And that's kind of what makes it special. Let me try to get out the second layer. There, the bed is next up. Oh, so this is all the electronic stuff. Hi there. I'm not sure about your neck. Angel 12. The color used to be for the exhaust filter, but really nobody builds that anymore. Yeah, I think I need to check the manual again, but yeah, like there's like this like backpack thing on it. I'm actually not sure that there is parts for Nevermore in the kit. I think we will have definitely will have Nevermore. But I think and there's some filter material here. So I'm not quite sure what this is for. We'll need to figure that out. Well, it's a lot of stuff. Let's maybe just go through it step by step. And just put it next to it here. I have to zoom in. The laptop is a bit further away than usual, so it's hard for me to read. But building a printer looks fun. Yeah, it's definitely. It's a really cool project, and it's also like you learn a lot and you understand the machine a lot better if you build like from scratch, basically. It's really fun. It's addicting. Start with building a 2.4, then got to 0.2 and another 2.4, and they're so fun to build. Yeah, I totally agree. I think this is my fourth printer now, basically, that I built. Yeah, and it's just super fun working on them. Well, let's just start with the hardware. So we have tons of screws, and they're all individually bagged and labeled, so that's great. And Yeah, it seems like standard stainless hardware, I guess. I'm not gonna like look into every of these bags now, but yeah, it's like tons of screws, M5, M3. And I think what I already like more compared to the LDO kit I had for the 0.2 is like that you have all the screws in one part. So what was a bit annoying with the LDO kit is what was that they packaged all the screws in sections in a certain way. So you had like multiple bags of the same type of screw in the end. And it was a bit annoying to find stuff. Man, that's a really heavy bag of screws. Um, can you use Prusa slicer with this or Orca slicer? You can use any slicer you want. You can also use Cura. And there are more slicers than these three, but like you can basically use any slicer where you can just create a profile. Prusa slicer might even have pre-made profiles for these. It's quite a common printer in a certain sense by now, so yeah, it's not nothing special. Aluminium composite material. Oh, you mean the this one here? Yeah, like it's just like it doesn't really look aluminium. Like there's some like very fine silver. It feels like it's top and bottom is silver, and the center is like something else. I assume this is like somehow special because it's under the heated bed. I assume like if you have acrylic glass here, it will warp because it will get hot from one side from the bed. So I assume that's why there's like a different material here. Let's see. So these are all our cables. Let me maybe even zoom in a bit for these. So it's nice. Everything comes pre-crimped. I assume we don't have to crimp anything by hand for this. And everything's like nicely labeled. Like you have like very clear labels. Yeah, so it's nice cables. They're quite flexible. Motor power to power. So it's like very clear label. So I think this will be very easy to hook up later. Yeah, and this like all the AC wires. It's this AC part. So this is clearly labeled. That's all great. Oh yeah, here we have that's the CAN bus cable. So this will go to the toolhead. So nothing fancy here. This is just the big tree tag. The kit I think comes with a yeah SB2209. So it's the same we have on the switchwire. So we're already familiar with this one. Let's say SB2209 Toolhead Board. So yeah, old friend for ours basically. Nice. But yeah, they don't have the retail packaging for this one. I see there's like another big tree tag box over here where they have the retail packaging, but for this one we don't get anything. Let's see, get this back in here. Cool. So, oh yeah, that's the rest. And these are the, so we need to crimp the toolhead connectors. They don't come pre-crimped. Let's see if we find like more cables for that. But it looks like they expect us to crimp the connectors for the toolhead board. Which is the same, like if you would buy this like standalone, the SB2209, like it comes exactly like this, just not in bag, but like in a box. But we get our big tree tag rubber ducky. And we're not only getting one, I see at least one more here, and I have suspicion there's a third one here. So it might be like a very duck heavy kit. Would be nice for the backpack filter to be made to take hot air from the top through the HEPA carbon exhaust back to the printer. I think Seaboard AWD Trident does that. I think there's like a lot of like really cool filters. I know there's also there's a Nevermore Max, I think it's called, that you can also put on there, and it basically exhausts the air after filtering it. I'm just not sure, like, I mean, I'm not a filter expert, but this is like really like coarse. Like this looks a bit like the fume filters of for soldering irons. But yeah, that's the filter. Let's put it here. We also looked at the cables. More cables. So these are for the motor. So we have Z. That should be 4. Looks like 4. And we have the XY. So AB motors. And it's also like on the cable it says A and B. And here it says XY. Let's see. What do we have here? This looks like cable management. So it's like some cable ties that you can stick to something. Let's see where we need them and if the manual instructs us to use them at any point. Oh, this is piano wire, I guess. So basically, we will use this for the umbilical cable that goes to the tool head to keep the cable basically in a nice arc and like prevent it from sagging, basically. Use Nevermore for VOC filtration and then actually exhausts hot air out of the chamber. What do you think about the Bamboo Lab printers? And how long take it to build the Voron? Well, Bamboo Lab, personally, I don't like them too much, to be honest, because I like to tinker with my stuff. And Bamboo Lab doesn't allow you to tinker, really. Like it's a bit like the Apple approach in a certain sense. Like you take the printer as it is, and I think they're like good machines. But they don't really want you to like change it in any way. And I really don't like that. And I really don't like what they recently did, for example, with the firmware where they restricted like third-party apps accessing your printer. So it's really like if you get a Bamboo printer, you are in the walled garden basically. And as long as you're happy inside, I think it's a good machine. But if you want to change something and Bamboo Lab doesn't want you to change it, then you will have a very hard time changing it. And from it's my personal opinion, like from the trajectory they're on, I feel like there's more and more of these like walled features basically coming. So they will force you more and more into their paradise basically. Now for me, I don't really like that. I'd rather have like an open source machine where I can change whatever I want and I can run whatever software I want on it. And how long will it take? It really depends. Like I know that there are some crazy people who can build it together in a day or two. But it's more like, especially if you do it the first time, like just take your time and it will take you like a couple of weeks, worst case, like assuming you're not working on it full time, but like if you work on it like, let's say 4 or 5 days full time, um, I assume that would be realistic. But yeah, it's really about the process of building it in a certain sense. So if you don't enjoy the building process, I would just go with like an easier build. For example, the Core 1, right? Like that would be something, if you get the Prusa Core 1 kit, you can most likely build it together in like a longer evening session, maybe a bit more. So this is definitely more work. Stealth Max, yeah, exactly. That's the Stealth Max. I actually was thinking because I have like these, you don't see it, but there's like basically kitchen under cabinets here. They have my printers inside. I was actually thinking about adding one of the Stealth Maxes to the side of that to filter all the printers basically in one go. Let's see if I ever built that. Never Max seems so expensive. Yeah, it's definitely like it's an expensive build. Like you need a lot of stuff. Can I increase my mic volume? It's the same as all the time. Anyone else has the feeling it's I can increase it a bit. Not sure if that's better, but like it's the same as every week. I'm never changing these settings. Hi Daniel, welcome. And you can't use Octopi with it, or you mean with Bamboo Lab or with or like with the Bamboo printers or with this? Like with this, technically you could use Octoprint. It's actually like I said, like in the older times, Clipper was always used with Octoprint. But now it's more common to use Fluid or Mainsail. Mic is fine. Okay, like I'll bump it a bit. So let's see. Just give me feedback on the volume. But yeah, if you have Bamboo Lab printer, you can't really use Octoprint. I know there's like a kind of like unofficial plugin, but this won't work anymore with the recent firmware updates the Bamboo Lab printers got. That's exactly what I meant. Like basically with the recent firmware updates, it became quite hard for third-party apps to access your Bambula printer. There are some ways around it, but yeah, not sure how long how long that will be the case. Mainsail. What did I say? Did I say something else in mainsail? It's fluid mainsail, and yeah, that's kind of like the modern version of that. Maybe it's my headphone issue. Not sure on, but I think from my side, it should be fine. Cool. Yeah, boring stuff. We have sealing foam and the good old VHB tape, but not the original 3M. Like it's unmarked. So let's see. It should be fine. Worst case, I have no. Then, yeah, more boring stuff. Power cable. These are the feet. Yeah, like I like mainsail and have it on my V0 and V2. Yeah, I'm also using mainsail. Like I don't like fluid too much. I can't tell you why. It's just like mainsail feels a bit more mine. But yeah, both are like functionally almost the same, I would say. I don't think there's like big differences. Also, Octoprint is fine as an interface. It's like whatever you prefer, and it's like the easiest to run. Yeah, so these are the compressor feet. They're quite heavy. Let's see. So we do have a drag chain here. I'm not sure if we will use it. I think we should. Most likely will be used on Z because for the toolhead we have the umbilical cable, and I don't see any other drag chains. So I'm pretty sure we will use that on that. Okay, then this looks like an end stop. 2 can end stop. Okay, let's see. I'm not quite sure for which axis we have an end stop. My assumption would have been that we run sensorless homing on X and Y. I only see one end stop, so potentially this is for Z. Let's see how they wire that up. And we have more cables. That's for the solid state relay. Oh, interesting. We have a printed part. My Bamboo is getting Clipper MCU the second it becomes available. Yeah, I think a lot of people are planning to like de-bamboofy their Bamboo printers. I use Octopi for my Mark IV-S. Is mainsail or any other distro better? Well, it really depends. Like you can also use Octoprint with Clipper. That's also like possible. Like if you want to have the same interface, you can just use Octoprint. That's totally possible. Like there's no right or wrong. I think like Octoprint is more like the let's say like the traditional way of using Clipper, because like you will not run Marlin on this machine. Like if you build something like this, you will not run Marlin, so you will run Clipper most of the time, I would say. So yeah, you will need some web interface because Clipper without web interface is not really fun. But then yeah, Octoprint works fine, or mainsail fluid. It's really easy. Like you can install either. There's no big difference, and it's just like your personal preference. I think there's still like tons and tons of plugins and functionality that Octoprint has because of the plugin ecosystem that mainsail fluid just don't have. Um, I'm losing track here of the messages. I like mainsail and I have it on my Visio. I have that. How squishy are those feet? The feet are hard. They're not squishy at all. Like they're like hard rubber. It is rubber, so I can like mark it with my fingernail, but they are hard. Um, I saw. Yeah, the chat is a bit cut off. Yeah, I noticed that too. I'm super sorry for that. I don't think I can fix it quickly. I had it before. It's like a bit finicky to change that. For some reason, every time I start the screen, the chat is like moved a little bit. It's quite random. To Canon sub would assume that's for X and sub or the Toolhead board. Yeah, it's also what I assume. But like 2 can and stop also doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'll just I will be surprised when we use it. So I'm getting that with my X1C the other day, not even a year old. Strongly considering selling it and building a box turtle. A lot of people are building box turtles at the moment. It's a pretty cool thing, actually. So, but yeah, I'm having this in my hand for quite some time. So we have one printed part, and I think this is the only printed part in the kit. Everything else you have to do yourself. I'm not sure why they give you this one. It's a standard printed part, but it looks okay. The only thing is like the red really doesn't go with my color scheme. So I might reprint this part and change it. I'm not quite sure if there's anything special about it. Like why do they give you this one part and it's like pre-assembled with everything? I mean I appreciate it, but a bit confused. Can I directly dip MGN12 block into isopropyl alcohol without disassembling it? Yes, you can, and I will do that on stream in a second. No worries about the chat. Just figured I would want someone to let know. Yeah. Like I'm aware. It's the problem is the chat you see on screen. That's basically the YouTube chat in the HTML thingy inside the stream. It's a bit finicky because I have to remove the chat bar, and that's where the problem comes in. They keep changing their stuff. Oh, we have another end stop. Only one. So there's another end stop here, and this one says Y end stop. So I'm pretty sure then, Ravenkeeper, that you're correct, and this one is the X end stop, also because it's a relatively short cable. And this is the air filter, so I assume this goes to the Nevermore. Let's put the filament runout sensor back in its bag. And there's a lot of stuff here. Then there's some cable sleeving. Not sure where we need that, but we will watch out in the manual. Here, and all the interesting stuff. The main board. So, yeah, this kit is using a Manta M8P, which was actually one of the reasons why I really like this kit over the others. Because this mainboard is perfect for what we are going to do in the long term. It's also quite similar to what I have in the Switchwire already. In the Switchwire, I have the M4P, so it's the way smaller version with like only 4 stepper drivers. But it also has the I assume this is one of these boxes here. We have a CB1, Big Tree Tech CB1. Let me quickly put this here. Maybe let's see if we can find this. Yeah, here we go. So this is a CB1, which basically replaces the Raspberry Pi. Here it comes out. Oh, and we have another rubber ducky. So we are the duck count is at 3. Yeah. This has the same heatsink I also have on the Switchwire, which looks pretty cool. So I'm actually very happy about that. And yeah, this looks like the CB1. There's a CB2 by now, but this is CB1. It has the 616 chip. So that's the CB1 still. The CB2 has a better chip, so it's faster, but I found the CB1 to be more than decently fast. Like I don't have any performance issues with this thing whatsoever. I had in the beginning a bit of fear that it would be like as slow as the Raspberry Pi Zero, but it's way faster, so it's not a problem. The only thing I noticed, and it's something I noticed like the last 2 weeks, I had like 2 times. I had the system completely freeze, like just the Linux system completely freeze, and the printer, of course, the print failed, but the printer was completely unresponsive until I restarted it. That's a bit odd. Not sure what that is about. It's most like some software thingy. But I also now forgot. I wanted to quickly show you where this goes. So this basically will end up directly here. We put the heatsink on top, and this is the complete controller board. So you have basically the chip here. That's the main MCU, the main board. So Tilo was talking about Octoprint before, or like the Prusa setups, and basically this would be like how it's called, the buddy board in the Prusa world, and this would be the Raspberry running Octoprint. And in this case, everything is one unit, so we don't have any cables. It's like way cleaner setup. It's really nice. So this will go on the main board. That looks like filament sensor. This is the filament sensor. Um, just swap the mainboard in the AMS and voila, it's AMS for Clipper. Yeah, like I think there's a lot of like appetite now in the community in like modding the bamboo stuff, like to make it unbamboo. Because the hardware is great, right? That's the thing. Like the printer hardware of Bamboo Lab is amazing, especially for the price. Like if you look at the X1, for example, right? Like for what it is, the machine is relatively cheap, I would say. And I'm pretty sure that they are also not making a whole lot of money by selling you the printer. Um, I think my personal theory is that Bamboo will more and more try to make money off people that already bought the machine, because they need to kind of recoup their investment in a certain sense. So I'm curious to see what happens there. I don't know, but I can imagine that they, for example, will start a subscription service this year, that you have or not have to do in order to get stuff out of printer. Or like not printed, but like, like maybe new features might be paid only or something. These are stepper drivers. Not gonna unpack them now, but we have 6 here, as it seems. They don't give you any extras. So we need 4. 4 of these we need for the 4 Z steppers. So each of the Z steppers is individually driven. If you compare it to our poor man's works why we built last year, and I'm still building, it's not forgotten. There basically we have 2 steppers for Z and both run off the same stepper driver. And here the difference is basically that all 4 Z motors run on their own stepper. Benefit is basically you can control each stepper individually, so you can like very precisely rack everything. And then 2 are for A and B, so for the XY basically. And the last one, the extruder, is run directly from, I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in the pile, from the Toolhead board. The Toolhead board has also a stepper driver just for the extruder. Rather have the fun building one though. Yeah, I think like the Boxer is a really cool build. And if I wouldn't have planned for this thing here being multi-material, I might have built one as well, maybe in the future. But yeah. V1 or V2 MAP. This one is the V2. You can, like, the V1 doesn't have that decal here. So this is the V2. It also says on the web page, if I quickly show that here the red text. So the latest version comes with BTT Manta M8P 2.0 and the 1.2 touchscreen, which we didn't see yet. But yeah, this is the new version. I think the old version also would have been super fine. I think this one has a way, way, way faster chip. I'm not quite sure if we need that, but just like nice to have, I guess. Then the other thing that makes this board special is that you have 2 different power rails. So you see basically we have the bad power here, bad out, bad power. So this is one rail basically just for the bad. Then we have the power for the motor. Sorry, the power input here, and we have motor power. And the stepper drivers can either be run off the power or the motor power. So basically you can choose which one the stepper driver uses. There's like this jumper up here basically where you can pick between the 2. So what you can do, and what for example did on the Switchwire where we have the smaller version of this board, is that the power is 24 volt of course, but the motor power is 48 volts. So that would allow us to like run these drivers at a higher voltage. That's not possible, I assume. Yeah, these are TMC 2209, so they only support 24 volts. But you can basically swap out the drivers here and then run higher voltage, which just gives the motors a lot more torque. Which step drivers are those? Yeah, 2209. 2209. Okay, let's put this over here. Oh wait, there's the goodie bag. So we have a USB cable, which I don't think we will need, to be honest. We have jumpers, tons of jumpers, stickers, and crimp connectors. But I think I'm curious to see if they need us to crimp anything. I think they just give you the connectors because they're part of the main board. So if you want to later extend it, you can make your own cable. Um, but I think from what I've seen so far with cables, it looks quite complete. Okay, let's close this back. Then, belts. More belts. Is there more belts? I think these are the belts. Let's see. Let me like open this one. There's like less risk of me. So these are 6mm belts, and they are. Do they have a Gates label? They are Gates power grip. So according to label, that's the good stuff. Lesson we learned the hard way with the poor man's Core XY. Don't cheap out on the belts. It makes a huge difference. So these are most likely this is AB, I would assume, because we have the 6mm, and these are 9mm, so they're like wider. These are wider compared to these, and that should be for Z. But also here it's the Gates power grip, so only good stuff. Motor straight to mains and standard. Actually, not sure. Are there like AC steppers? Is that a thing? Does that exist? I'm not sure if that would work, to be honest. My zero was from Formbot. Pretty sure they're all pre-crimp wires. I'm almost certain. But it's nice that they give you the connectors anyways. Because like again, like if you later want to change something, you have all the parts you need. Plus the crimping pliers. I'm using 2208 step drivers. I think the 2208 and 2209 are basically identical for most things. The 09s are a tiny bit better, but I can't remember exactly what was the difference. But it's like the 2208s are also like silent. They have the um, stealth drop, so I think they're more than fine. I'm sure someone has done it. And I'm just wondering, like, if you because with alternating current, if you can actually like make steppers work. I'm not quite sure, but like I think voltage wise, for sure. Like I mean, like 200-volt steppers. I'm pretty sure that exists somewhere. Um, don't make the same mistake I did with the last build. Used 6mm bells on my Zs and didn't realize it till when around AB. Well, I will pay attention. I will pay attention. But yeah, I see how that can happen. Yeah, and that's bone tube, and that's the bone tube with the larger inner diameter. So the outer diameter is 4mm, and inner diameter is 3. So the filament will be very loose inside. It's just like to guide, but you don't create too much friction. But it's nice. We looked at this already. So this also says CB1 version 2.2. I'm actually not quite sure what version I have in the Switchwire, but it's also CB1. Then we have a SD card, 32 gigabytes, which is fine, I guess. And yeah, the last big tree tape box. And here we have a USB to USB, like A to C. We have HDMI to micro HDMI. A thank you card. Couple of screws. And I assume this is the screen. Yes. So this is our touchscreen. Fun fact, this will be the first Clipper machine I have with a touchscreen. I never had a screen on my printers. Also has a speaker, so I think this is nice. Cool. Amazing. Let's put this back in. And the rubber duck count is 4. So if you want rubber ducks, this is your kit. sure this is all back in the box. So basically, I have the retail packaging for the HDMI touchscreen and for the CV1, but the boards come standalone basically. What do we have here? This looks like a random bag. So we have two Wago connectors for the Nevermore. Then these are the pulleys for Zaps. So these are the 9mm wide. This is the heater for the Hotend. So 70 watt, which is quite a lot. I guess it's good. Oh, nice. We have a brush. I'm not sure if we have a nozzle wiper in the kit, basically, if that's intended to be built as well. We need to check that. But that's basically what we built last week with the V0. Yeah, then we have like a couple of short runs of belt for the gearbox of the Z motors, I guess is what you call it. Like, it's not a gearbox really, but it's like you reduce from the small pulleys to like larger steppers, so you have the motors have more torque. Now we have more pulleys. These are the 6mm pulleys for the AB. We have magnets. Let's see what we need the magnets for, but then we have strain reliefs for the canvas cable, I assume. So 2 for each end. Piles all here in the corner. I have no clue what this is. Looks like a Ethernet cable. Oh, it's from the back. Magnets are for the panels and Nevermore. Yeah, that seems about right. I know Nevermore definitely needs magnets. That's true. Yeah, it's just the Ethernet cable. Now, I'm not quite sure what we need the Ethernet cable for. Let's see. We'll find out. Most likely. Oh yeah. There's also Ethernet keystone. So I assume they give us the Ethernet cable that we can route from the main board to the back of the printer, that you can connect your printer with Ethernet. So that's nice that we have that. I won't use it, to be honest, but it's there. Temperature sensor. PT1000 is the good one. I never had that. Then we have a tap kit. Yeah, so this kit comes with Voron tap. So we have a small PCB and a very short linear rail that basically just allows the tool head to travel up a bit. And I'll set it aside because we will do the rails later. Let's take a look. But it looks like there's like end stops basically crimped onto the rail. Let's just put actually in here, but let's put the tap aside. I have no clue what I'm looking at here. Isolation columns for print bed. Substitutes of M for thumb nuts. Okay. So I'm not quite sure what material this is, but it looks like fabric. I assume it's just like to electrically isolate the bed from the rest of the frame. CNC tab. No CNC tab, I think. We will find out, Rainkeeper, but I don't think there's a CNC mount in there. No, I printed the parts for tab, so it's not a CNC tab. I'm pretty sure it's not. What this is, I have no clue. We will find out. Oh, that's it's mounting. It looks like DIN rail like end caps. I think it's for DIN rails. We should have also DIN rails here, so that makes sense. So it's like 4 end caps for 2 DIN rails for the electronics. Printer tab. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We have idler gears. Not idler gears, but yeah. And it also looks like 9mm. So I assume this is for the top of the Z loops. And we have two with 6 mm. I'm not sure. That's the I wasn't aware that the V2 uses the toothed idlers. I thought they also used the smooth gears like the switchwire and V0. But we'll take what we got. And yeah, more pulleys. Tons of pulleys. Then we have one of these couplings for the bottom tube. Let's see where that goes. I assume at the end of the umbilical. And we have some bottom tube with the smaller inner diameter, the 2 mm inner diameter. Let's see what we need this for, step by step. And this one is curious. It's a micro SD card with 128 megabytes. It says. So I have no clue what this is for. We'll find out. I'm not quite sure if there's like something on there. We need to check that. But like I wasn't aware you can buy 128 megabyte micro SDs still. Yeah, last thing is like these how to describe that? Rods basically. They're also like for the Z. So basically one end, like this will basically hold the larger gear for the Z drive. Okay. So that's the big bag of random things. Let me just try to put that back. We lost the keystone. With a lot of random stuff. Flashboard and configs. Yeah, I guess something like that, Steve. Like I assume something like that. The V2 uses both tooth and smooth. I did not see any smooth idlers, to be honest. But there should be, because like when the toothed ones you should only use when the teeth engage with it. So basically for the opposite turns you need smooth idlers. But I didn't see any, to be honest. I didn't see any. Like these are all with teeth. We have some bags to go. Well, big bag of zip ties. That's always welcome. Then we have LEDs. Like these are for the toolhead. It's nice to see. Pre-crimped, so that's good. Oh yeah, these are cables for it says tap. So that's mostly for a small mainboard we saw. And more cable sleeving. We already had like a bit of that before. I have no clue what this is. Oh, I think this is the mount for the solid state relay. Like it clamps onto the DIN rail. So I'm pretty sure this is the mount for the solid state relay. Which I didn't see yet, actually. And this is our power inlet filtered. And a big switch. So that's for AC in. Let's put this all back here. That's a lot of stuff. That's a big printer. Let's get rid of this already. Then, what do we have here? Oh, this is a coal pouch or like a coal pack for Never. It says for Nevermore. So they seemingly give you like one pack of active carbon. Night ballistic tech. 2.4 build, yes. I'm really looking forward to that. Like having a big printer will be very nice. Then this seems to be like a distribution board. So you have, yeah, line neutral earth. So that's for AC. Oh, there's not a printed part. Interesting. So like they give you some random printed parts where I'm not quite sure why they give it. Like technically you can print it yourself. I mean it's nice, but and looks like okay quality. Bit of elephant's foot, but the material I like it's like it has a bit of like a rough powder coat feel. Is that an injection mold exhaust pack? Um, it is. It is, I think. Is it injection molded? Yeah, it looks injection molded. Yeah, it's injection molded. I was just a bit confused because like it's the outside is a bit like rough, but it doesn't have like any layer lines or something. So this is definitely injection molded. And yes, it's an exhaust pack. So we were talking about it. Here it is. Also, this I'm not quite sure why they give you an injection molded one because like it exists as printed part, right? You could print that. And this is a spool holder, which is also not printed. I don't think this is printed. At least not FDM printed. But it's nice. Also this part, like I don't fully understand. Yeah, it's injection molded. You see the injection points here. So I'm not sure why they give that to you, but it's nice. But I could have printed that myself, to be honest. Because like this is also like in the stock 2.4 basically, no, another one. This is intended to be printed. Hey, this is interesting. Let's see. And I think we also have that. Um, oh, sorry, Belsitech, I totally missed you. How did you set the Formbot kit? Um, the Formbot kit, couple of reasons. Reason one was they have like shipping inside the EU. They have like a warehouse in Czech Republic, which was quite nice. And secondly, I really want to have the main board, which is the. This comes with the M8P mainboard, which was a bit of my favorite. So yeah, that was like some of the reasons, but it also seems to be like from the hardware, like from like price performance, it seemed to be like the best pick for me. And like I also really liked my V0 LDO kit, but like the 2.4 kit from LDO is like basically double the price, which is quite a steep sell to be honest. Mm, yes. Then try to put this back. Not sure how it was in there. Okay. Oh, this was also in there, but yeah, whatever. And like these small parts, let's put them in the random bag with the cable. Then that is quite a messy thing. Wonder if some of their injection molded parts are shared with their drawing printers. Oh, for sure. For sure by the Sick Tech. I'm pretty sure that's the reason why they give it to you. Did you use my Formbot affiliate when you ordered? I did not. I'm so sorry. But I actually got the small discount from them for the kit. So basically, I reached out to them asking if they want to like sponsor this, and I got like a small discount on the kit itself. So it's not fully sponsored, but yeah, I also didn't order it from the webpage basically. Then, so we have three big fans. So these are like 60 millimeters, and they are for the electronics. And we have two 50-15s, which are for the Nevermore. another one, I assume, for the tool head. And then we have one 40mm fan for the tool head as well. And they're all from the same brand, which is Docheng. I've never seen these fans before, so I'm curious how they perform. I had very bad experiences with cheap fans before, so I'm yeah. Let's see how they perform. I hope they're not too loud, especially the electronic fans. Let's see. We have to try it out. But I think that we're also pretty much on the bottom of this massive pack here. The last thing left is the power supply, and yeah, no big surprises here, but it's very decent. It's a Meanwell 200 watt. Yeah, 200 watt, 24 volts power supply. So this will run the electronics basically. This will run the Hotend, and yeah, that's basically it. So the heated bed, oh, the motors. The heated bed is directly powered from AC. Um, Maybe how to get rid of stock. I think the Troton did well. I'm not quite sure. Like, I think it's just also like if you have the injection mold process set up, like these parts are so incredibly cheap that maybe they just throw it in as like a goodie, and for them it's like not really like any real cost basically. I could that would be my guess, but yeah, it could also be that they just ordered like a million of these parts, and now they're just trying to get rid of them a bit. My Turon has those two parts injection molded now that I think about it. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that it's just like what they used, and it's really easy for them to just throw it in, and they just throw it in. I don't know what I'm looking at here. It looks like cable channels. Yeah, it looks a bit like a cable channel. Oh, that might be cover for extrusions. Let's see. Something like that. And then we just have like actual cable channels for the electronics. So we have 5, which is quite a lot. And they have a funny color. They're not white. They are like mint green, like a very light mint green. And I think the last thing we didn't look at yet is this light bar, which looks relatively cheap. Let's see how that turns out. But I think this is what we get for illumination inside the print area. Yeah, I think that was the... Oh no, there's more. There is more. And yes, Steve, there might be a honey badger upgrade coming at some point. So these are the rails. Yeah, so this one is... Is this MGN12? I think it should be MGN12. Like, it's a very massive rail. Yeah, I think it's MGN12. Same what I have on the Switchwire. And the others are all smaller. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's MGN10. No clue. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're all the same length. Yeah. So we have basically 6 times MGN10, I assume, and then one thicker one for the x-axis. We will prepare these rails like later in the stream. So that's basically one thing I want to do, and then we have like the very short one for the tab, and they're all Vividino branded. So I never had this brand of rails before. So let's see how they are. Let's leave them in here for now, and later just unpack them and prepare them in one go. Now I'll just put the tab kit here to the rails. Then like all the rail stuff is in one spot. Okay, let me just keep all of that back in. I hope I kind of get it back in a way that I can stack it again. It's a lot of stuff. I think Tilo, like you asked how long it takes to assemble that. So you saw now a lot of stuff just in this box, and this is just electronics. So Yeah, it takes a while to put this together. Okay, I don't think I'll get it back in the order that it perfectly fits in again. But yeah, it looks like all so far it looks like decent quality stuff. The fans I need to see. Like I want to try them out. But so far it looks kind of okay. Okay, let me put this over here. Lots of IPA bath. Yes, I have a whole bottle here. So we'll my goal is to prepare the rails in the stream as well. Was asking about it anyways, so we'll definitely do that. Okay, this will be faster. So we have a silicone heater mat, pre-crimped wires, nothing too special about that. And then we also have like a thermal fuse here. So basically, this is quite important to have. If the bed gets too hot, or like there can be defects basically where the bed has basically constant power. So you can't turn it off anymore with electronics. And the fuse here basically will blow in a certain, like, if it gets too hot, the fuse cuts the power. So it's just a safety feature. It's quite important. Then we do have the build plate. You know, seeing this, maybe I should have gone for the 350. This is the 300. So we have a smooth side and textured. I actually never printed on smooth PI, but this has already some scratches in it. So not quite sure. This will most likely show up in the prints. I'm sure you can see it on camera. There's there are some scratches here in the PI, which is sad. Okay, that's the bat. And yeah, like I have regrets. Let's put it like this. No, wait, regrets is hard, but so this is the switch wire. And it's definitely bigger, but I think like 350 would have been like nice. Just like would have been like a tad more. You can just peel it off. So protective. I don't know, like doesn't feel peelable. Oh, it is peelable. Okay. Scratch that. Scratch it, scratch this. I'll leave it on now, but yeah, it's peelable. So this is a protective film. But I'm not sure if you can then print on that. Because this now feels quite bare. I'm not quite sure if this is intended to be like a print surface or if this is just a single-sided sheet. Because this is not just like bare metal. There's nothing on there. So I think this is just like a single-sided sheet. There we go. Get that back. Then this is the magnet sheet, which is quite thick actually. I've never had such a like. It's quite stiff and heavy. I didn't have such a magnet sheet before. Then the important part is our bat. So it says this is a precision machine, cast aluminum plate, so the surface has marks of processing. As we tested, the flatness of this plate is 0.1, I assume this is supposed to mean. Well, it looks nice. You can definitely feel like where these strips are, there's like a little bit of like a difference. I assume it doesn't really matter like later, but you can feel it. And then we have the four mounting positions and two screws here. I'm not quite sure what these are for. We'll find out. Let me put this back for now. Well, that's the bed. Um, when you have to flip the printer over and over while building, you might appreciate the 300 size. Yeah, it's also like why I went with the 300. Like the 350 is quite a big machine. This is already really heavy. Like just like the box is really heavy. And the DHL guy who delivered that, he was not having a good day. um, but yeah, like print size wise, like my thinking was like I never really need 350. I definitely reached the end of the 230 sheet of the switch wire. So 300 is definitely something I appreciate. But yeah, it's like a bit of a trade-off, right? Like the bigger you go, like the more problems you will get with like stiffness and everything. So I think this is a good sweet spot size. I may not be in the stream when you get to the bed install stage, but just skip installing the bed until the very end. Makes flipping it over and over, over and over and over again much easier. Yeah, I mean, like this is quite heavy. So I appreciate the hint. I might go for that. Which HTTP timing belt are you using? I'm using 10mm one with my printer. I think 10 is quite large. The 2.4 is using 6mm on AB and 9mm on the Z. But if you have thicker belts, like it's better for printing performance. I actually remember hearing the reason why they have 6mm belts on the 2.4 is because with the extrusion, like they couldn't have wider belts because then the idlers would be too tall. To locate the fuse that were, oh yeah, you mean the screw holes? Yeah, it's most likely yeah to mount the fuse, I assume. Just like weird that they have two. I would have assumed one in the center. Um, the Warren docs have you installed the bed plate really early in the build? Yeah, I think it's exactly like you do the frame and then you put the um, two center extrusions, and they already put the bed on top. Not quite sure why they do it that early. I assume there's a reason. Most likely, I will just follow the manual. Just like do it to the book. But yeah, I assume it will make definitely for quite some workout moving the printer around afterwards. Okay, let's move this to the side. And yeah, like the repackaged electronics, like they don't line up at all. So we have a data sheet of motors. It's always handy to have a data sheet. Is this? Yeah, this is already the already is good. But this is the last, so I'll just like take it out step by step. We do have motors. And they come with Moons motors, which is quite a good brand, so happy to see that. I think they're all the same. So we have four motors for Z and one for A and one for B. I think they're like all. See, they're all the same model. They're all the same model. That's why they only give us one data sheet. But yeah, I'm not an expert in stepper data sheets. I have no clue. But yeah, it's the rated current is 2 amps. I guess that's an important number. Hey, let me quickly put them back. But yeah, we have lots of stepper motors. And we also have one more, which is the small one for the toolhead, which is also Moon's like branded. It doesn't look. I'm not sure if I like the bear look on the back. Like there's basically you see the bearing. When I turn it, you see it turn, which is kind of cool, I guess. Like it's definitely like that's definitely a look. Also in front, like you see the bearing. Usually the bearing is like under a cover, and it looks a bit thinner than other motors. Um, build as intended, tune then mod. Yeah, that's the way to do it. I think like if you add I mean, for example, like installing the bed later will not change a lot the build process, right? But if you, the more mods you add on the fly, the harder it will become to build it. So I'm always in favor of just like building the machine as it is, making it print, and then when it prints, you can start like tuning it. For this build, we already have some mods that they want us to install or like to build in right away. So I'm not quite sure how to do that there. Example would be the Nevermore, right? So I assume then we could, for example, build the printer without the Nevermore and then install the Nevermore later when we also do the panels and everything. Because my goal would be to first build the machine in a very bare state. So no skirts, no panels, nothing. Just like as soon as it can print, it will print. Because it also has to print its own parts. Like, for example, the skirts and everything, I want to print on the machine itself. Um, Luckily, this tech documentations with zero Formbot built well enough. I didn't need those data sheets for mine. Well, I hope I will also not need it. There's actually a really cool, I guess, extension for Clipper. I forgot the name, but basically, all you need is like you need the model number of the motor, and you put the model number in your Clipper config, the model of the stepper motor. And then the plugin has like internal database with all the different motors, and it automatically applies the best values for your motor. It's really cool. Um, Forgot the name. I'll look it up. That's pretty cool. Like actually I had really good success with this plugin. So for example, like on my switch wire, I always had vibration when the tool had moved along the x-axis. And then I installed the plugin and just applied like put the stepper data, like the model number in, and it did some magic values, and the vibration was gone. It was really cool. Team C Autotune, thank you, Versi Tech. Team C Autotune, that's the one. We'll watch this with when my V0 turns out up on Monday. Oh yeah, Steve, your V0 is almost there. The V0 has was a fun build, but part of the fun was my 6-year-old daughter helping me the whole time. Helping in a positive way or helping in a negative way. It sounds like a cool experience, I guess. Um, Tap is a mod for one. Yeah, also tap. The kit comes with tap as well. Yeah, but I think there's no way around building tap in right away. That would otherwise be quite a hassle, I guess later. So I'll never more before you do the bed. That would be also something to consider because I think it might be quite hard to access after the bed is on. So we watch out what we do there. Um, Otherwise, you have to take the bed off to install Nevermore. Yeah, I mean, one thing we could potentially do is like already run the cables and stuff. So I need to see how exactly it's mounted. But yeah, it's definitely something to look out for. And hi, Big City Tours, welcome. Okay, so this is that. Then we have wheels, gears. Not sure how to describe those. So these are basically massive pulleys. Just have to pay attention. There's also like two grab screws in each of these bags. And these are for Z. So basically the Z, I mentioned before, like the Z basically has a motor. The motor is connected with a short belt run to these bigger pulleys, and the big pulleys basically are then connected to the actual belt. Um, so it's just like a reduction to give more torque for that. Now we have 4 of these, one for each motor. Then what do we have here? Oh yeah, these are the it's just angle brackets. Um, they don't have any like structural importance, I guess. It's just like to make it look nice. For 2 extrusions that hold bad. So we have 4 of these. Then we have 1 box with gears and springs. So these are the extruder parts. I've never seen such a gear. They usually are white, so I never saw a red one. What's positive, it's like a pressed on pulley. So basically the difference is like the BMG parts, the older ones, they have a grab screw, and the grab screw causes the gear basically to be ever so slightly out of center. Because if you slide the gear on and then you tighten it in one direction, you push it a little bit out of alignment. Basically, that causes an uneven extrusion because the diameter of the gear changes basically depending on which position in the rotation it has. So it's nice to see. I'm not quite sure because I never saw like this red color. It's a bit confusing. Um, Not confusing, but like, yeah, I just never saw this specific part. So I assume it's a different brand or something. But I'm sure it will do fine. And then we have the normal parts for the extruder. So this is just like one set of extruder gears, basically. It mounts the extrusion under the bed. So yeah, at least the mount mounted and run the wires. Yeah, so maybe that's what we do. We just build the Nevermore, put it there, but like don't connect it yet. Um, Maybe that's a good approach. The only thing is like officially this kit is supposed to be built with a Nevermore V5, like the 5th version. But by now there's also the V6. And the parts that you need to buy, like the bomb is basically identical. The only difference is like the printed parts. So I'm almost certain that I didn't print it yet, but I most likely will print the V6 and not the V5. But yeah, that's not super important. Okay. Then we've already seen the end caps and some mounting stuff, but yeah, we have 2 DIN rails. So that will hold all the electronics on the underside, basically. Put that back. Then I was also missing that, like I expect this an electronics part. So this is the solid state relay, which we use to turn. So basically, when you have a heat bed, you control the temperature by turning it on and off very quickly. And this is basically what allows us to turn on and off the bed very quickly. So the bed we have here is heated with AC. So it's not powered by the power supply, it directly comes from the wall. And then you need the solid state relay to turn on and off the wall power. Normal relay has like a magnet basically that connects and disconnects physically a cable. So that basically means you cannot switch it very quickly on and off, what you need for like the fine control of temperature. That's a solid state relay. It's solid state, so it doesn't have any mechanical parts. So you can turn it on and off really, really, really quickly. And that means basically you can control very finely how much power on average the bed puts out. Just to the V6, much easier to build. Yeah, I'm actually also like a bit of a pickle. On my V0, I have the V5 Nevermore, but the printed parts come up like fail, and I need to replace them. But for the V5 build, you need to take apart the fans. And now basically I can't really easily upgrade to the V6 because I destroyed the fans. Um, so I need to buy like new fans to like print the V6 parts. Yeah. So I think for the V0, I'm most likely going to stay with the V5. Although I really like the design of the V6 a lot more than the V5. But yeah, it's not really worth like 25 euros in fans. Didn't have a problem mounting, never after installing a bed. Has a slide anyways, so the screws were easy to get to, and they don't have to be tight. Yeah, I need to look into that, like how it's exactly mounted. I know it goes under the bed and it's between the two extrusions, but I'm not quite sure how it's fixed in place. You can print the V6 parts on the V0, then use the 2.4 to reprint the V5 parts. Yeah, it's kind of the plan I have, to be honest. The thing is that, I mean, technically, I have, I mentioned before, like I have these like compartments down here, and I can close them. So my switch wire basically is inside an enclosure anyways, and I actually printed like a lot of bigger patchy parts this week. Um, and I had issues before with it's like very thin walls, and with patchy parts and with thin walls, I had issues before that they split basically after the print was done. And no, it felt like I was stepping on something there. Um, and I printed it enclosed basically, and enclosure also like enclosure got to like 40, 45 degrees. So it's actually doable to print ABS there. So it should be super fine printing ABS on a switch wire with that. But also on a switch wire, I only have the 0.6 millimeter nozzle, so I will need to swap the nozzle there for sure. But yeah, I think the 2.4, it will also print like a lot of the parts for the skirts and everything. And I'll do the exact same thing. Like I'll just put the 2.4 actually will live under the, like down there under the table, like on the side. And I just can close the doors and it has like enclosure. So that's basically how I will print all the skirts and everything. Couple more parts. So we have a lot of bearings here. And we talked about toothed and smooth idlers. So similarly for the smooth idlers, we get the normal flanged bearings. And these are pretty much the exact same ones I also used on the switch wire. It's the Fushi bearings it's a great brand, like they make really nice stuff. And these I'm not sure if they're also Fushi. But they feel nice, so this should be fine. Cool. I'm not quite sure where we will use these bearings. I mean, these are obviously for the belts. These we will need to figure out. Oh, I think for the Z motors to hold the rod, basically where the big gear sits on. That's most likely where these go. Oh yeah, and there's also the back is Fushi labeled, so I assume these are all Fushi bearings, which is nice. Cool. Yeah, that is. Oh no. Ah, one more thing. The hot end, which is nothing special. The hot end is just the V6. So old school, basic, but this is what we will have for the beginning. That's most likely something I might upgrade in the future. But I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the stream my long-term plan, and like long-term, like later this year / next year, is to convert this into a tool changer with like 2 or 3 tool heads. And technically, like this is a fine hotend, right? Like it's not like the most high performance one, but you don't really need that for like a bigger machine, I assume. Like this machine will not be like a speed monster. So I think this should be fine. And potentially I might just keep this and add a second tool head with the same hotend. Just saves a lot of money if you have to buy 2, 3 of them. So it should be fine. But yeah, nothing special. You can order the kit with different hot ends. They also have the Dragon Standard and the Dragon High Flow. But the European warehouse does not have them. So you need to then order from China, I guess. Yeah, but it is the kit. Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. Oh yeah, the extrusions. We didn't look at the extrusions yet, but yeah, it's extrusions. They have a little of like this one has a couple of marks here. So there's no choice in color, like it's always black. And the rest looks fine. Yeah, here's also like a little bit of scratch. So they are not perfect, and there's like no protection here between the extrusions. So they have a bit of scratches here and there, but it's like overall they look okay. And it's like a nice smooth matte finish. Um, just to the V6 much easier to build. Yeah, I think like it's yeah, oldie but goldie, I guess. It doesn't fail. Didn't have problem mounting Nevermore after installing. Oh, I already had that. By Bamboo P1S Hotends for the tool changer, cheap and they do a job. Yeah, actually, like a lot of people do that, right? Like to buy the Bamboo Hotends. Also like a valid option. Let's see. Like that's for later. One thing I really want is like if I have multiple tool heads, I really want them to be all exactly identical. Like I don't want to have like any differences then. Angel, thanks for checking in. See you. Well, let's do the following. I will just like put the things back on top. And in an order, let's keep the electronics slash everything section on top. Because I am a bit short on space here, so we need to like organize that in a smart way. Where we need to see like how we like manage the space here a bit. But it's like for the next streams to figure out. I assume I will have to like look ahead a bit and like take out the parts we need and like place them here on the side, and the rest of the kit I'll just put somewhere. But then we get a little bit of like space back here. Okay, let me. Here, it is a really heavy box. I was quite surprised. I would say let's just prepare the rails so that we can basically start with the frame next time. Um, and how about we start with the small one? Let's start with the small one. And I kind of have the suspicion this will get super messy with the rails. And I think I also will have to refill my grease. That is, of course, all at the back. Okay. Let the fun begin. So usually what I do with like cleaning rails is I'll just clean them inside the bag they come in. I just wanted to quickly check out this. It's quite interesting. I'm not quite sure if this is how it's supposed to be for tap. But basically this has like end stops more or less, like mechanical stops on top and bottom so that you can't slide it off the rail. It, funnily enough, still comes with one of these, which is basically like the shape of a rail, so you can slide the carriage on. But you can't really slide this off, so I'm also pretty sure like these are intended to stay in place. Hi there, Wiser then. Do you think about using a beacon probe? Might be for the future, potentially. So this kit comes with tab, and that's basically for now. We'll just build the kit as is. But yeah, beacon would be interesting for the future, especially because the larger bat. So it would definitely like help a lot. The stops will be removed when you build a tab. Okay, so they will be removed. And then that's why they give you this one. But for now, I'm actually wondering then if we should grease this already. Because the rail is so short, you can't really like spread the grease evenly anyways. So I think it's easier to grease this one when we assemble it. Then we basically take off the stops, slide off the block, grease it, and slide it back on. I think that might be the best way to do this. Let's quickly park this on the side then, and first do the other rails. So let's first cut them all open and do the cleaning part. And I somehow see that this will be like an absolute mess. Usually I would do that at the sink. So if you do that at home, do it at the sink. There's some glue stuff in my scissors so they don't cut super well. Okay. So then for cleaning, basically the idea is to hold the bag like this and just pour the IPA in, and then we can just clean the entire rail in one go. And then my plan is basically take out the rail, put the next rail in. So let me actually like get them all out of their bags except of the one we start with. And then let's also create like a drying drop-off station. Okay, this can only go wrong. Okay, so the bag is filled, like not fully, but basically the block is just underwater, so to say. And then I can just like, a bit difficult to show now from the top, but slide it around a bit in there. And then we'll make sure that all the oil from the factory is removed. So basically when you prepare the rails, it's always like a two-step process. Like first you need to remove the oil that comes on the rail, which is like basically meant to protect it from rusting in shipping and storing. Somehow I think this bag is leaking, which is perfect. And this is okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this bag is leaking. I didn't spell it. Let's be quick. I wonder if I should try one of the other bags. And I hope that this one is not leaking. I should say the table is also cleaned afterwards. Yeah, I think this one is it's watertight or IPA tight. Let's flip that over. And it's like always nice to like inhale some IPA fumes. If you have smaller rails or you have a bigger printer, there are also these like 3D models on printables and everything, which are basically like a linear rail baths. So then basically you can just like dunk them in like horizontally, which makes it a bit easier. But this also works fine. Just have to be a bit careful with the bag. Could have also closed the bottle again. And last one. I wonder if this one is a bit higher preload than the others. Because you see, this one doesn't slide under its own weight. Like this one stays on the rail. The other ones all slid down on their own. So I think this one is a slightly higher preload. I assume these are like light preload and this one is higher preload. Same discussion we had last week on the V0, where we also swapped the X rail for one with a little bit higher preload. Let me quickly get rid of this. Otherwise I'll spill it everywhere. 1 second. Okay, here we are. My MGN12 blocks came separate in a small plastic reel. Yeah, that also happens like sometimes if you buy these. I mean here you also like this from the tab. It comes with the plastic rail. I assume like what happens is like if you buy the rail separately outside of a kit, They might cut the rail for you to length to what you order, and then the blocks are just separate for them. You can also buy the blocks individually, because you might, like, you can also add a second block on one rail. You see that with CNC machines a lot, that they have like 2 blocks on one rail to make it like stiffer. Just. Yep. Yeah, this one definitely has a higher preload. You see, like it really stays on top. Like even if I shake it a bit, like it barely moves. And these are, they're sliding under their own weight. Which both is fine. So basically, the higher preload just means that the rail has less play. Which for X it's really good, because on X you only have one rail holding the tool head basically. Whereas on Y you have two left and right. So it's not as critical to have like a higher preload there. And the higher preload, of course, also means you have higher friction. Just trying to like dry them off a bit more. And kitchen towel is actually not like the best to do this, because like you get like little parts of kitchen towel everywhere. So we need to pay attention there later that we don't have kitchen towel on our rails. Ooh. I definitely have my daily dose of IPA fumes. If you do this, make sure you have like good ventilation. That looks like HDR rail. I'm not quite sure on what an HDR rail is, to be honest. The only thing we didn't know, like, yeah, we totally ignored this one now. But yeah, let's leave this, and I'll take care of that when we do the tab. So that is for later. Then I think they're like mostly dried off. Bits of kitchen towel. um, yeah, let's grease them. I think first step would be for me to refill my little syringe here, because that is definitely not enough. Let me see. What can we use? Mm, I'm looking for something to like scoop the grease. Don't see anything good, so I guess I'll use my tweezers. Looks like a good kit for the price. Would keep an eye on the rails for play, but other than that, I think good value for the money. Yeah, I think like so far it looks really fine. Like all the electronics components are like branded components. The only thing is like the V6 Hotend is like a no-name V6 clone. Um, but I think besides that, like it looks fine. Like nothing to complain so far. Also, the rails, like they feel. Let's wait until they're greased, but they feel like consistent. Like they don't have any snags or something. And I think all kind of feel the same so far. And this one definitely has like quite a significant preload. I'm not happy using my tweezers there. Let me quickly check my kitchen if I have something that I can use there. I'm right back. 1 second. I was talking for like 15 seconds already and forgot to like start the stream again. I have this like picture frame holder I printed the other day. Let's just quickly create something from that. Perfect. Okay, well, not perfect. Yeah, it's always nice to work with grease. Not sure what the proper way to put grease in a syringe is. This is my messy way. Luckily, if you fill the syringe, like you don't have to do it for quite some time again. I'm trying to like press it in step by step. Back. Had to have some dinner. Well, everyone has to have some dinner sometimes. Seems like we are already pretty full. I think this should be enough for our operation now. Let me make sure. And let's close this up first. I love grease. It's amazing. When you touch it, like A, it gets everywhere, no matter what you do. And B is keep it staying on your hand forever. So, I'm trying to clean this like as good as possible. Okay, off we go. Always grease my rails the Steve Builds way and take the blocks off, then use printed rails to reinstall. Well, technically we could do it too. I prefer the messy way. So, I mean, I usually what I do is like I flip them over and just align like the block with one of the holes. And then I'll just squeeze it in. And then you see already here, like it kind of like comes out. See left and right, like it squeezes out. And that means basically now it's fully packed with grease. So we now slide this around a bit, just to make sure like the grease is everywhere. Yep. And I can just get rid of the excess. So this works really well. It's really easy. The only thing that's really annoying about this technique is you have one hole that's packed with grease. It's always like a bit of a struggle to get this like clean again. That's the only way, like the only thing I really don't like about this technique. But I think it's nice because you don't have to like take off the block. And I know that some people are really concerned about taking off their blocks. We did like last stream, right? And I even lost the ball and I put the ball back. And it was like the MGN7 rails, so the really small one. So it's really not like that big of a deal. The only thing you need to be a bit careful, like, of course. But outside of that, like, it's really not a big deal. Perfect. That's our first rail, greased and ready. And still like leave some grease trails. Yeah, as I mentioned before, like kitchen towel is not necessarily the best here because like you get these little shavings of kitchen towel. So you need to be a bit careful to like remove them. Okay, that's one. Let's repeat that. Let me maybe just like do the squeezing part first, then we do like the cleaning part all in one go. Assembly line style, basically. Okay. Okay. I'm really curious to see like how much difference there is like, but also like something you can see now that they're greased. they're like sliding like less freely. Like before, like without the grease, basically this like just slid down, right? So now there's like not necessarily more friction. It's like more dampened, I guess. But yeah, there's no grease in the balls, so the balls are not spinning as freely anymore, which is a good thing because it really prevents like wear and tear on the rail. Send my Ali shopping list for my project to a mate of mine. Let's hope that better luck with getting the items. Oh yeah, you really struggled with the AliExpress shipping. Was it canceled again? Did you get the Micromolex in the EVB 2240 you can use for the Zero? No, I did not. I actually checked. They don't use this plug there. I am super annoyed. Like I ordered the so maybe for the people who are not like on the Discord. So after last week's stream, I troubleshooted this communication issue. I troubleshooted both issues. I troubleshooted the PC probe and I troubleshooted the communication issue. The PC probe issue I actually fixed. I'm not sure actually if I mentioned it on the Discord, but there was a crack in the toolhead cowling, and I think this crack caused the vibration that triggered the PC probe. Like when the fan was on, like we suddenly had like randomly the PC probe randomly triggering, and I think that was caused by this crack in the cowling. I'm not quite sure if this is new or if this was already there. I don't know. I have the suspicion I dropped the tool head like slightly, right? Like during the stream. I think that's when the cowling cracked. It's not a big deal. Like I just added a tiny bit of glue and problem fixed. But I think this is what caused that vibration and the random triggering of the PC probe. And then the second issue was this communication issue suddenly happened. I have no clue what happened there because like the machine worked fine before we worked on it. Like I didn't have any communication issues. Um, and I was troubleshooting that, but I couldn't really quite pinpoint it. But I'm pretty sure it was the plug. Problem is I don't have any spare plug to crimp on, so I had to order a new one, which is on the way, but for some reason it takes forever to arrive. Got to auto refund last night, sadly. Only rails and heater managed to arrive. Then 2 weeks of trying the other parts, but I give up. Ah, shit. Let's hope your friend has more luck. Yeah, it's like a really messy process. The way I do it. I'm pretty sure there are better ways. But this is super easy. Like you never have to take off the blocks. There's very little you can do to fuck up. Um, as long as you pay attention that like these like end stop thingies stay on, not much can happen. But the rails are nice. From what I feel like they feel very solid. to decontaminate my entire desk afterwards. That's why I want to do this like in the beginning. It's like this is the worst thing of the entire build, I think. And then like, it's done and we can focus on all the fun. Okay. This one's a bit stiffer. Still smooth. But yeah. We have to sort them in a second and make sure that we find good rail pairs. Yeah, this one is like way lighter compared to the one I just had in my hand. Okay. Last one. Almost done. That's it. Try to wrap this in a way that like there's no grease on the outside. And then later I have to like clean the whole table. Okay, so we need to find or decide which rail goes where. And let's do it like all in the beginning. So the obvious choice is this one goes on X because we only have one of these rails. So not much of choice. So this is X. But then basically we need to find two of these rails that go on Y. And I'm not quite sure what is smart here. So there are definitely differences. Like just like from moving, this one is a little bit heavier. This one, for example, is like lighter, definitely, like compared to the other ones. Like these two are lighter than the other ones. These are roughly the same, I would say. And these are also roughly the same. And I would say let's just like, just because we have like 2, 4, let's just go with these two on the Y. And then these will be our X. I still see a bit of grease here. So let me quickly mark them. Marker here, yes. So this one is Y, and this one is Y. And then you can also just Z them. We know that these four are Z, these two are Y, and then just to be complete, let's mark this as X, but it's clear. Hi there, Astro Lemonade. Did you buy the kit for your own money or has it been sent by Formbot? I would like to know your relationship to them. I got a discount, so I still paid most, I would say. I think I got like a $200 discount on a kit. I was just reaching out to them and offered to like make the streams basically as like a sort of like manual. But yeah, it's still like most of my money, or like a lot of my money went here. So it's partially sponsored, I would say. I should also, I think I mentioned that in the description as well. I hope I did. I need to check that. I think I did not put in the description very well. But yeah, that is the Rails. And I think this was also pretty much like the workload I wanted to do for today. So a bit of a shorter stream, but I think it's a good cutoff point. And then next time, basically what we can do is we can go through the frame building part. So it's basically the first step in the manual. Maybe let's do that. Let's go through the manual quickly and just like see what sections and steps we have to follow. I still have like a little bit of greasy hands. Let me see if I can clean it up a bit. Not good for your skin, but it works for now. Okay, let me pull my laptop a bit closer. Let me pull it a bit closer. And well, switch wire is quite a strong term, Raven Keeper. It's more like a mini. It's not quite a switch wire, but it's a very cool project. Okay, let me see. I think I already downloaded the manual. I know I downloaded the manual. Question is, do I find it in my chaos here? Yes. So we of course have the official Voron manual. That's one thing we are going off. And we'll have to show pics on Discord. Yeah, 100% needs to be documented there. And then the other thing I have, so basically the guides here are like very, very slim. So we have the documents, which is like a Git repository. And we have a guide, which is like also a Git repository, but like from some other guy. So there's not a lot here. It's very basic. And the Formbot Git has even less. So there's some STLs, which I downloaded and printed again. Oh, we also should look at the print parts I did. Let's do it in a second. So they have some special printed parts here, where I am not 100% sure if we all need them. So there are the parts for the Nevermore in here. There are parts for the touchscreen in here. So these are all parts I downloaded. I didn't print all of the parts yet. This is for the EBB 2029. So basically just collected like parts for the extras they added in. And also like we talked about tab and they just referred to the official Voron tab. Suggestion from the Discord for the other user builds, make it so we can make our own threads if possible. Yeah, I think that would be like way better if we have like a thread and then like you can post in the threads, then like it's a bit more structured. Maybe it's a good idea. Using an Ender 2 Pro heat bed or zero bed. We can already do that. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a good idea to like keep it in threads in that channel. Um, Let me see. But yeah, this is basically it here. There's not much in here, so there's no like manual or something. It's just a link and links back to the page here. Then we have this manual here, which is like from other guy who built the kit. And this is just like a table basically with the pages of the Voron manual and some remarks on these spots or like steps. So we should have this like on the side open and just like reference that as we go through the build. But mostly this is just like small addition to the official manual. Yeah, and also the red pom gear here. Like, not sure if it's pom gear, but so yeah, we'll keep this in mind. But as with any Voron build, this is kind of like our like main guide that we will follow. So the first step, basically, if we would start building this now, oh, I can't click on the pages. That's very sad. Would be the frame. So it's basically step one for us is to build a frame, which will be a bit of a challenge for me, to be honest, on stream, because usually I would do this on like a very like flat surface, of course, and I have like a quartz countertop in my kitchen, which would be perfect for that. But I kind of want to do it on camera, of course, and I don't want to do it in my kitchen. So we will build it here on this table, which is not like it's flat, but it's not like hyper flat. So this will be a bit of a challenge. And I most likely will, if it doesn't work out, like after the next stream, basically like redo it in my kitchen or tweak it in my kitchen a bit. But I'm curious to see like if we can build it actually on this table and get it like square. So that will be quite a thing. But yeah, these are also extrusions. So basically, they're like 5 different types of extrusions. That would be like next time when we start, let's just sort all the extrusions first. That's always a good step, step one, and then go through the frame build. Will be really will be a bit challenging to get it square here on the table, but I'm pretty sure we will manage. Yeah, these are like the little caps I pointed out when we went through. So they are just here to like hold these like bars and like the extrusions in place that later hold the bed. Yeah, and then it is all up already with the Z drive. So it's actually like I feel like we'll become coming together quite quickly once we start. The important part is just paying attention with the frame in the beginning that everything is square. That's always like horrible if the frame is not super square and you keep building on it. It kind of like bites you in the ass at a later step, and it's like way harder to square it up. So we should really take our time there in the beginning to get it straight. But yeah, I would say for the first sections, I already printed all the parts. Let's quickly look at the parts as well. So basically for the frame, Z drives and idlers, build plate, AV drives and idlers, gantry, and Z axis. I have the parts. So basically I printed the parts for this entire section and the AB bell stealth burner. Stealth burner, I didn't have all the parts printed yet. And now I have to wait for the V0 to be back in action with the cable. So I kind of knocked myself out there. But we have enough parts to go for quite a while. Let's quickly check them out. Actually, not get them done. I guess I kind of revealed the color scheme already, like in the last stream. but it will be ignore the green parts. It will be like a black and white build basically for now. So the green parts are this is like random testment with it, and the green parts here are all the little tools and helpers we have. Um, so these are not part of the build per se, and everything else is black and white. It's not just white. It's like I already showed the stealth burner like last stream, but this is like marble white, so it has like these like black um, dots spots in it. So it looks really cool in person. And these are like all printed on the V0. And it prints really fine when it prints. So before we broke it. But yeah, so basically, I also mixed up the color scheme a bit in terms that like in the Voron manual, like they will point out parts that have like accent color and parts that are like base color. And for me, that does not quite match up. So basically, for example, this is supposed to be a base color part, I think. Or like all of these like mount parting here, like mounting parts here, they're all supposed to be base color. For me, these are all white. So the gantry basically will be all white. The skirt part here, the skirt, not skirts technically, but these are like the Z drive parts. They are all black, except for these feet parts basically that are actually also accent parts in the proper in the proper color scheme. So I basically mixed this up quite a bit and came up with my own style. I hope it will turn out nice, but I think with black and white, there's not much you can do wrong. Um, and the idea was basically why I wanted to have this black and white color scheme. Is again like in the future, I kind of like want to convert this machine into a tool changer. And then the idea was for each tool head to have its own color. But then I wanted to have the base machine basically, or like the machine itself, like in a neutral color scheme. That then the tool head colors doesn't clash with like the parts of the machine, of the drive and everything. So that's why we have it black and white. And then maybe later with the tool changer upgrade, we will add color in. But I'm also like a huge fan of this black and white color scheme. I think that's really, really sweet, especially with this marble marble color. The material I'm using here, this is Noble Fill ABSX. I actually should also put it maybe in the description if somebody wants to buy that. Like, this is really sweet. And it's amazing material. Like, it's the first time I bought that. And I'm really happy with it. Like, these parts printed really nice. Like, the black ones is also the Noble Fill ABSX, but in matte black. Matte black, I think is the color. They all printed really nice. Like, I have very little issues with warping. I had a couple of parts. Not sure was it these ones? No. There was like one part. Oh yeah, here. It's these I think it's the XY joint. For some reason, like this corner on both parts, like on left and right, came off ever so slightly, but it's like minimal. So not really good. And it's the first layer is very consistent actually now with the PC probe. Yeah, the part looked really clean. Like that came out like I'm really happy. There's some small defects like here and there. Like this one, for example, has this where I'm not quite sure what happened there. Oh, focus, focus. See here, like on top of the holes. I have no clue what happened there. That's on all three holes. Four. So something is also here. So I have no clue how, what, why. Focus. See here, like on top of these. No clue. But yeah. Besides that, like they look really nice. I think these are the nicest printer parts I used so far. Looks like PA, but might be something else since the rest looks fine. Yeah, it's the thing, like the corners itself, they all look fine. Like it's really only on top of these holes. I'm not sure if I have like yeah, it's actually on all of them. It's funny. I didn't notice that before. Also, this one has it. See, like it's a bit harder to see, but like you also have here this like defect. I would need to investigate that a bit. But yeah, now it's too late. Besides that, they look great, so I have no problem with that. There's also not too many parts having like such a setup. So yeah, but these are the parts. So basically, as soon as the V0 is back up with a working canvas cable, um, I will continue printing. So what I still need to do is the rest of the stealth burner parts. So basically, I only have the white parts of the stealth burner. I didn't print the black parts yet, so I only have the basically the front and the cable cover, but I don't have the middle parts basically at the extruder and everything. So that's still on my to-do list. And then basically for electronics, I also printed some parts already. I think, or at least I thought about it. Not sure. I don't think electronics are printed yet, but for electronics, it's not too much. So it's just like some mounts and holders. And then my plan is basically to not print any of the skirts or panel clips yet, and basically print them all on the machine itself. So basically, we will build this machine until the electronics section. And then it's just like making it work, that it prints like good, like not perfect, but like, that it prints well. And then the machine is responsible for printing its own skirts and panel clips. Partially because like the V0 is not big enough to print those parts. So the story of the V0 basically is supposed to be able to print all functional parts of all other Voron printers. And that's exactly what it can do. So the skirts are not functional. So you can't print the V0, the V2 skirts on the V0. So yeah, technically I could print them on Switchfire, but yeah, I really want to print it on the machine itself. I think that's the proper way to do it. Bridging too fast. I don't know, Steve, because there shouldn't be any bridging. Like, if anything, my bridging is too slow. My bridging is really slow. I don't know half the parts. And also, like, there shouldn't be any bridging, right? Because like here on the side, like it's always on the right side of the hole. Like there's a hole, and on the right side on top it has it. Always on the right side on top. I don't know. I would need to look at the G code. I think what it could be, and it could be Ravenkeeper, you could be correct. It could be pressure advance. Because my bridging on the outer walls especially is really slow. So I think it's like slowing down a lot for the bridge of the hole and then speeds up quite quickly. So maybe there's a pressure advance issue there. There could be actually. Looks like it warps up when printing. Not sure. Not sure if that's the case, to be honest. Like, it's really like on top. Like it definitely has something to do after like it prints from like it prints in this direction, right? So this is after it bridged the hole here on top. So it's something is bridging most likely. Yeah. Once the V0 is up and running, hopefully like I get the parts next week. Like for some reason it takes forever for these like parts to arrive. But yeah, I'll look into that a bit. But yeah, most of the parts are already printed. It was actually really fun, like printing non-stop with the V0. It was almost a full-time job because like with the small printer, you can only print like 1, 2 parts like per plate. So you're constantly rotating plates basically. Every hour, like a print's done. Um, Looks like it wraps up while printing, but it's still not cooled down enough to keep the shape. I didn't see it curl up. I think also when it would curl up, like you would hear like an impact when the nozzle hits it. I didn't have any like that. I'm sure. I feel like it could be pressure advance because like the bridging is really slow and then like it speeds up a lot after that. I have my bridging speeds are really slow, and I think I need to increase them. Or maybe not enough filament when it restarts that point. I think it's just like that. There's like potentially pressure advance issue where like there's the bridge maybe like screwed up. Also the pressure in the nozzle is also possible. Yeah, I need to create a test piece, most likely a small one, and just try it out and play around with some settings and see what changes it. But yeah, it's not on top of my list, to be honest, because besides that, it prints really well. But also interesting, like this part I was also printed on a V0 a while ago, and here I don't have this issue. Like this part doesn't have it. Like it should be here on top here, on this one, and here on the inside, and it doesn't have it. So maybe it's also something that recently started after I changed some slicer settings. I don't know. Because this one looks clean. Okay, I would say that's a good cutoff point for our like unboxing and getting ready stream. And next week it's definitely the frame. I'm quite excited for that. Actually, I was sitting on this for 3 weeks or something. I really wanted to open it, but I also really wanted to open it on stream and like go on stream through it. So took some mental power. Now I'm really excited next week to start. So with that, thank you everyone for tuning in. And yeah, I'm also hyped for this build, Ravenkeeper. I'm really excited. Like this will be like the project that keeps us busy for quite some time, like the base build, but on also like all the mods and work after. Um, yeah, I'm really excited. Biggest printer I ever had, so I'm really excited to have this up and running. Well, with that, enjoy your weekend. See you next week. Bye.